And most people, they never see this side because they've quit long before. They said, oh, I'm too old.
Yeah.
The time has passed.
Yeah.
I got kids now.
Yeah.
I've been married for a long time. I've done this. This is enough.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
And you said, I'm going to keep trudging.
Because he kept telling me.
It's gonna.
We've all seen it happen before. The actress who carries the show, who makes us laugh until our sides hurt, who becomes the heartbeat of a cultural moment, only to watch the spotlight shift away while the men in the room walk straight into empires. But what we're learning now about Terri Vaughn's journey from the Steve Harvey show to her current Netflix resurgence isn't just another Hollywood story of faded fame. It's a masterclass in how the industry operates, who it rewards, and the quiet wars fought behind closed doors. Wars where the casualties are often the women who made the magic possible in the first place.
I really think that, just thinking about Steve at that time, listening to him and what he was saying and how frustrated he was getting with the limits that they kept offering. Like it started turning into crumbs for him.
Yeah.
And it was like at some point, he's a grown-ass man and has done huge for this network. And now you're telling him he can only do this amount of it.
Let's start with the numbers because they don't lie. 3 NAACP Image Awards, back to back to back, from 1999 to 2001. 6 seasons, 122 episodes. A character, Levita Jenkins, so beloved that Black households across America made her part of their weekly routine. Terri Vaughn didn't just play a role on The Steve Harvey Show. She was the show, the soul of it. The reason fans tuned in, the reason the laughter felt authentic, the reason the WB's Wednesday night lineup became appointment viewing. And yet, when the final episode aired on February 17, 2002, Steve Harvey walked straight into a radio empire, a Family Feud hosting gig, a talk show deal, and a net worth that would eventually climb past $200 million. Terri Vaughn? She walked into audition rooms where casting directors only saw one thing: Levita Jenkins, the sassy best friend, the typecast sidekick, the woman who'd already had her moment.
Now, I'm a Christian, but I ain't that good a Christian.
Here's where the story gets ugly. Because while Steve Harvey was building his brand, Terri was fighting for scraps. The same NAACP that handed her those awards later criticized Levita as a harmful stereotype. The same industry that celebrated her talent refused to let her lead a project, until Tyler Perry came along 2 decades later and proved what she could do all along. And the same man who called her family on set allegedly enforced a dress code where women had to show up to rehearsals in heels and dresses, while he and Cedric the entertainer could wing it, skip prep, and still get top billing. We're not talking about rumors here, we're talking about patterns. And the pattern is clear. Terri Vaughn was the engine of that show, but she wasn't the one steering the ship. Now let's talk about what happened behind the scenes, because the leaks are starting to paint a picture that's far darker than anyone realized. Sources who worked on The Steve Harvey Show describe a 2-tiered system. Harvey and Cedric could improvise, show up late, even blow off rehearsals, no consequences. But Terri? One misplaced line, one off day, and the whispers started. Difficult. Unprofessional. The double standard wasn't just obvious, it was policy. And when Terri got pregnant during the final season, they wrote it into the show, turning her real-life milestone into a plot point while Harvey was already negotiating his exit, cutting the season short and leaving her to film 14-hour days with a baby on the way. Meanwhile, insiders claim that while the men on set could joke, ad-lib, and even skip script meetings, Terri and Wendy Raquel Robinson were held to a different standard. One where preparation wasn't just encouraged, it was mandatory, because the margin for error for Black women in Hollywood has always been razor thin.
He got there early, and he was on the radio station talking about, I'm going to destroy Steve Harvey. And I'm going, wait, we're doing comedy. We're not rappers. This ain't a beef.
But here's the question that's been haunting fans for years. Why, after all this time, is Terri Vaughn still defending Steve Harvey? In February 2024, when comedian Gary Owen dropped bombshell allegations about Harvey's behavior on set, claims about how he treated people, how he ran the show, what really happened behind the scenes, the internet exploded. And Terri? She stayed silent. Not just silent, she defended him, publicly. The same man who by multiple accounts created an environment where the rules didn't apply to him. The same man who walked away from The Steve Harvey Show to build an empire while she spent the next 2 decades fighting for roles that matched her talent. So what does she know, and why won't she say it? Let's rewind to 2024, because that's when the cracks in the narrative started to show. Gary Owen, a comedian who's worked with Harvey in the past, went on record with allegations that painted a very different picture of the man America knows as the affable host of Family Feud. Owen claimed that Harvey's behavior on set was far from the motivational, uplifting persona he sells to the public. That there was a side to him that the cameras never caught, one that involved power plays, favoritism, and a level of control that bordered on tyrannical. The internet, of course, had a field day. Think pieces, hot takes, memes, all of it. But Terri Vaughn, she never wavered. In interviews, she called Steve a mentor, a brother, the man who gave her a career. She talked about the family they built on set, the laughter, the love, and maybe that's true. But here's what she's also said in quieter moments, in interviews that didn't go viral, that she and Wendy Raquel Robinson had to show up to rehearsals prepared while the men could wing it, that there was a hierarchy on that set and everyone knew their place, that the double standards weren't just about talent, they were about respect.
Was it that for you, or was it as hard as we hear the stories are?
Oh, it's a hard business. It's a very hard business. But still, even with it being a tough business, I still enjoyed the journey of it.
Now, let's connect the dots. Because while Terri was busy defending Steve Harvey in 2024, something else was happening behind the scenes. Tyler Perry, the man who's spent years building his own empire outside of traditional Hollywood, cast Terri as the lead in She the People, a Netflix series where she plays Antoinette Dunkerson, a lieutenant governor navigating a biased political system. This isn't a supporting role. This isn't the sassy best friend. This is the lead. Her name first on the call sheet, her face on the poster, and it's happening now, decades after she proved she could carry a show. So why did it take so long? Why did Hollywood need Tyler Perry to remind them what Terri Vaughn was capable of?
My youngest child, man, is 28. So they in that generation. And I asked them what is, and they said, Dad, you clickbait. He said, you clickbait. He said, you one of the most viral people in your age group out there. He said, Dad, every clip on Family Feud got you on it.
Yeah.
You clickbait. If they can take your face and put it on anything, you become clickbait.
The answer might lie in what happened after the Steve Harvey show ended. Because while Steve Harvey was launching the Steve Harvey Morning Show in 2000, while he was negotiating his Family Feud deal in 2010, while he was writing best-selling books and building a brand worth hundreds of millions, Terri was booking roles in Tyler Perry projects, in indie films, in shows where she was still the supporting act. She was working. Don't get it twisted, but she wasn't getting the empire. She wasn't getting the billion-dollar brand. She was getting the roles Hollywood decided she was allowed to have. And that's the part of the story that doesn't get told enough. Because Terri Vaughn didn't disappear after the Steve Harvey show. She kept showing up. She kept working. She just stopped being the priority. And then there's the matter of Steve Harvey's personal life, because you can't tell Terri's story without acknowledging the man at the center of it all. We're talking about a man who's been married 3 times, whose second wife, Mary Shackelford, has gone on record multiple times alleging that he left her financially ruined, that he turned their son against her, that he used his power to control the narrative. We're talking about a man whose current wife, Marjorie Harvey, has been linked to not one but 2 individuals with ties to questionable activities. Her first husband, Jim Townsend, a man sentenced to life in prison for his role in a major smuggling operation, and her second husband, Donald Woods, another figure with a similar background. We're talking about a man who, in 2023, had to publicly deny divorce rumors after reports surfaced that Marjorie was allegedly involved in inappropriate behavior with a bodyguard and a personal chef. And yet, through all of it, Steve Harvey's career hasn't just survived, it's thrived. Because in Hollywood, when you're a man with a microphone and a platform, the rules are different.
He took my Winton. Took my Winton from me. He turned my son against me.
So let's bring it back to Terri Vaughn. Because while Steve Harvey was building his empire, while he was denying allegations and moving on to the next project, Terri was doing something else. She was founding her own production company, Lady Bird Productions. She was directing films like Across the Bear and Digital Lives Matter. She was creating opportunities for other Black women in an industry that had spent years telling her she didn't deserve her own. She was building a legacy, not by waiting for Hollywood to give her permission, but by taking it for herself. And now, in 2025, with She the People dropping on Netflix and a new generation discovering Levita Jenkins through streaming, she's finally getting the recognition she's always deserved, not as a relic of the past, but as a leading lady in the present. But here's the part that should make us all pause. Because while Terri Vaughn is finally getting her flowers, she's still protecting Steve Harvey. She's still defending the man who, by all accounts, benefited from a system that gave him every advantage while she had to fight for every inch. And that's not just loyalty, that's survival. Because in Hollywood, especially for Black women, speaking out can mean getting blacklisted. It can mean losing the few opportunities you've managed to carve out for yourself. It can mean becoming the difficult one, the angry one, the one who doesn't know her place. So Terri Vaughn stays gracious. She stays professional. She stays quiet about the things that would make the headlines explode. But we have to ask ourselves, what is she protecting? And who is she protecting it from? The industry has a short memory, but the internet doesn't.
You're saying his business ethics are like really solid, like he's treating you guys like
he treats us like golden. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
We are golden, baby. We could.
And right now, the internet is starting to connect the dots. Between Gary Owen's allegations, Mary Shackelford's repeated claims, the whispers about Marjorie Harvey's past, and the way Terri Vaughn's career was sidelined while Steve Harvey soared, there's a story here that's bigger than one sitcom. It's about power. It's about who gets to control the narrative. It's about the women who carry the show and the men who walk away with the empire. And it's about what happens when the woman who's been silent for 20 years finally decides to tell the whole truth. Because here's what we know for sure. Terri Vaughn is a legend. She's a 3-time NAACP Image Award winner. She's a director, a producer, a mentor, and now, at 56 years old, she's the star of her own Netflix series. She didn't need Steve Harvey's permission to get here, but the question remains, what does he need her silence for? And more importantly, how long can that silence last when the world is finally ready to listen? We've all seen how Hollywood works. It lifts you up just high enough to make the fall hurt more. And Terri Vaughn's career is the perfect example. Because after the Steve Harvey show ended, something strange happened. She didn't just fade away. She was erased. Not by accident, not by bad luck, but by design. The roles dried up. The offers stopped coming. The industry that had celebrated her as Levita Jenkins suddenly acted like she'd never existed. And the pattern is impossible to ignore. After the show wrapped in 2002, Terri booked All of Us in 2003, a UPN sitcom where she played Niecy James, the heart of the show, the fan favorite, the one audiences connected with most. And what happened? Canceled after 2 seasons. Then came Meet the Browns in 2009, Tyler Perry's TBS series where she played Rose Watkins. Again, the standout, the soul of the cast, the character people remembered. And again, canceled after 2 seasons. Both times, she was the breakout star. Both times, the show got axed. Both times, the industry moved on like she was disposable.
So I just keep going through. But then I'll tell you something too. Haters motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
Meanwhile, Steve Harvey's career didn't just survive. It exploded. Family Feud in 2010. A daytime talk show, a radio empire, a clothing line, a wellness brand, a net worth climbing past $200 million. The man who played her boss on screen became a mogul. The woman who made the show? She was left fighting for supporting roles in projects that never let her shine. And that's not a coincidence. That's how the game is played. Because in Hollywood, when a black woman carries a show, she's celebrated in the moment, then abandoned when the next big thing comes along. Terri Vaughn wasn't just forgotten. She was replaced. And the worst part? She knew it. She had to know it. Because while Steve Harvey was building his empire, she was directing indie films, producing passion projects, and waiting for the phone to ring with an offer that matched her talent. It never did. Not until Tyler Perry decided to change the script. And that's where things get interesting, because in 2024, something shifted. Tyler Perry, who'd worked with Terri before, who understood her range, who'd seen what she could do, cast her in Divorce in the Black, a Netflix film that hit the top 10 within weeks. Then came She the People, later retitled Miss Governor, where Terri wasn't just a co-star. She was the lead, the lieutenant governor, the woman carrying the show, the role Steve Harvey's clout never got her. And that's when the questions start. Was Tyler Perry fixing something Hollywood broke, or was he the only one willing to bet on her after years of industry blackballing? Because let's be real, Terri Vaughn didn't need a comeback. She needed a chance. And the fact that it took 20 years for someone to give it to her, that's not just unfortunate. That's suspicious. Then, in February 2024, the floodgates opened. Comedian Gary Owen, someone who'd worked with Steve Harvey, someone who knew the inner workings of his world, went on record with allegations that painted a very different picture of the man America knows as the affable host of Family Feud. Owen claimed Harvey ran the Steve Harvey show like a dictatorship, that he skipped rehearsals, that he berated staff, that he played favorites, that the set was toxic, the environment was hostile, and the rules only applied to some people. The internet, of course, lost its mind. Think pieces, hot takes, memes, all of it. But Terri Vaughn? She never confirmed. She never denied. She never spoke. And that silence? It's deafening. Because insiders say she's well aware of how things went down. They say she's admitted in private that the set was a nightmare, that the men, Steve, Cedric, got passes for behavior that would have gotten the women fired, that she and Wendy Raquel Robinson had to be flawless, while the men could show up late, unprepared, and still get top billing. So why won't she say it now? What's the holdup? And who's pressuring her to stay quiet?
So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this, he think he this. You don't even know me.
Let's talk about the math, because the numbers don't lie. Steve Harvey's net worth, over $200 million. Terri Vaughn's, a fraction of that, despite being the breakout star of his signature show, despite the 3 NAACP Image Awards, despite the fan love, the cultural impact, the way Levita Jenkins became a household name. Meanwhile, Levita herself became a meme, a TikTok sensation, a nostalgic icon for a new generation discovering the Steve Harvey show on streaming. And Terri? She didn't see a dime from any of it. No spin-offs, no syndication deals, no where are they now specials. Just an industry that took her talent, used it up, and moved on. Until Tyler Perry came along. Until Netflix gave her a second chance. Until Gen Z started asking the one question that should have been asked 20 years ago. Why did we never know about her? But here's the part that should make us all pause. Because Terri Vaughn's silence isn't just strange, it's calculated. And the deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes. Hollywood doesn't just forget Black women, it erases them. And Vaughn's career is a textbook case. She was the heart of the Steve Harvey show, the reason people tuned in, the character fans quoted for years. And yet, when the show ended, she was the one left behind while Steve Harvey walked into a radio empire, a game show dynasty, and a net worth that most actors only dream of. She was the one who had to fight for scraps while he became a household name. And now, with Gary Owen's allegations hanging in the air, with the internet demanding answers, with her own career finally getting the recognition it deserves, she's still protecting him. Why? What does she know that we don't? And what happens if she ever decides to tell the truth? There's one last piece to this puzzle, and it's the most damning. In 2025, Terri Vaughn won the Ace Honors Best Actress Award for Miss Governor. Not a lifetime achievement. Not a pity prize. An award for right now, for work she's doing today. At 56 years old, in an industry that writes women off at 40. So, ask yourself, if she's this good now, what else was stolen from her? How many leading roles did she never get to play? How many shows did she carry that never gave her the credit? And who's really responsible for the years she spent in the shadows? Because Terri Vaughn didn't just survive Hollywood, she outlasted it. And if she's finally getting her flowers now, imagine what she could have done if she'd been watered all along. So here's what we need to know. What's the real reason Terri Vaughn won't speak out? Is it loyalty, fear, or something darker? Because the truth is, Hollywood doesn't just forget, it buries. And if Terri Vaughn is finally digging her way out, what else is she bringing to the surface with her? Drop a comment below. Do you think she'll ever break her silence? Or is some truth too dangerous to tell? Either way, one thing's for sure, Terri Vaughn's story isn't over. It's only just beginning. Stay tuned, stay curious, and as always, keep watching. Because the real drama, it's always behind the scenes.